Morgan, so I was looking up some stuff for our talk today together, and I was looking up what it means to be moral, actually.
Just online, you Googled.
Online, I thought,
what does it
way
mean to be moral?
What better way to learn how to be moral than to go on the internet?
Google, yeah.
Google. So I went online and I typed in morality, and this article showed up that said, people with high moral standards are less likely to be funny.
Oh.
I thought that was funny.
It's kind of true.
I mean,
it can be true.
It is kind of true.
Yeah.
There's some truth in that. Why do you think that is? I mean, do you think we're so caught up in doing the right thing that like humor just distracts us from that? I don't know, like fun and the good just don't go together.
Yeah, I think that's the essence of it.
Yeah.
I think people can't understand that being fun and being human and being joyful and like, I don't know, pointing out life and like all of its like little, I don't know, quirky, funny or intricacies is compatible with like this very like stodgy, stiff understanding of holiness and being moral that we have too. And I do think that when you get so caught up in I have to be a certain way, you are not free to like be funny.
Be funny.
Yeah.
I know, it's important to be funny.
It is important to be funny.
I mean, do you think we're funny?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think you're funny, Megan.
Really? I think you're funny.
Wow. Thanks.
I mean, I am not a very sarcastic person.
No, you're not.
And so people who know me, you know, it's so weird. Like when I try to make a joke or try to say something kind of in a coy way or whatever, people are like, "Oh, Megan, I was serious, or I meant that." Like their response to me is like, either like, "I'm sorry I offended you," or, you know, I was just, there's just a miscommunication that happens when I try to be funny.
Oh, I don't think that's always true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be really funny.
Yeah. Okay.
I think sarcasm you do struggle with though.
I do.
And that's okay. It's a beautiful thing. You're
like,
very
literal.
sincere. Yeah.
Thank you. So, well, let's talk today about why being moral and being funny can go together. Okay? All right.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Open your hearts, open up your hearts to Christ. Do not be afraid.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Megan.
And I'm Morgan.
And you're watching Naked Without Shame. Before we begin, we want to make some announcements. We want to invite you to join the Awaken Nation. The Awaken Nation is a community of people who really sponsor the Awaken Catholic organization in what we do here. We ask that you consider making a monthly donation for as little as a cup of coffee a month to support the team here, to support the hosts and everything that is happening through Awaken Catholic. To do that, you can go to awakencatholic.org/donate.
And consider joining the Awaken app. The Awaken app is kind of like a social media alternative, and you can chat on the Awaken app with people within the Awaken community, but also with show hosts such as Megan and I. So, we would love if you did that. And also there's access to all sorts of cool things like prayers. I think there's a shop. So you can download that at theawakenapp.io.
And before we begin, we want to roll an exciting promo for the host of our show today, and it has to do with our trip to France.
Yes.
In October. So take a look.
Exciting.
Have you ever dreamed of visiting Paris in the fall? Seeing the beautiful Eiffel Tower lit up by a sunset, visiting and venerating holy locations of the Sister Saints of France in Lisieux, Paris, Lourdes, and more. This fall 2021, join select international tours with Claire Swinarski and Catherine Whitaker, along with a host of other powerful Catholic women, on a once-in-a-lifetime Seine River cruise pilgrimage in France. Join our friends at Select International Tours and Cruises. With over 34 years of experience, they are the perfect company to help you experience pilgrimage. To learn more, visit selectinternationaltours.com/awaken. Bon voyage!
Maureen. So we're here today, and we're going to talk about a topic that we think and we've found to be really compelling and worth thinking about, which is why we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah.
And it does have to do with the theology of the body, for sure, because the theology of the body is the understanding of what it means to be human. You know, and
morality is an inherent part of how you act out your humanity.
Exactly.
So it's really, very foundational. And I think that, when you think about theology of the body, like we've said before, people often associate it with moral teachings already. But I think that we kind of wanted to go a different angle, so to speak, about morality, at least as we've come to understand it.
For sure. Yeah. So why don't we start there then? Let's talk about our journey with understanding what it means to act and to choose and to do right. Yeah. So what is morality? Yeah, been understood as for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with your journey of?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
How about? Well, I think I would say that I've always been a type of person that has wanted to do the right thing. I'm not boasting at all. I'm just saying I have this sensitivity in me that I do want to be obedient and good and follow the rules, I guess. I'm a rule follower.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that.
Really?
No.
Okay, so I was a rule follower and you were
a rebel.
A
no,
rule breaker?
I wasn't a huge rebel, but I definitely was a little more so. Okay. It took me a while to understand the whole morality thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that would be interesting for me to hear about more, Morgan, because for me, growing up, morality, or in other words, let's define that real quick.
Morality?
Yeah, let's define morality before we jump into it. So morality is essentially perceiving what is right and choosing that.
Yeah.
Right. So we all have morals. A lot of people have the moral, don't hurt someone or be kind.
Right. Intuitive things.
Yeah. Very, very intuitive things. Just ways of being that are good for myself and other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in my experience, I just was very cut and dry with my rules. A lot of rules, right? So So what was it like then for you? It took you a while to kind of iron that out.
Yeah, interesting. I think, like you were saying, I intuited a lot of basic things, don't hurt people. I don't know. When I said in my interview, when I was 8, I became a vegetarian. Yeah. So I did that out of this sense of this is immoral to be hurting these animals.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had this real sense. As an 8-year-old, yeah. Oh. I really had this passion for justice and things like that. So I think that I wasn't totally morality is sucks or something.
Right.
But I didn't, I guess what you were saying, I didn't have this sense of I need to follow all the rules. It wasn't so much about following rules for me.
Okay.
And yeah, I think even as a teenager, I rejected that more, the idea of following rules.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what you're saying kind of reminds me of the fact that we all really, whether we realize it or not, we have a morality in us. We have a set of beliefs and thoughts about how we should be and act, right? So even if it's not as, I don't know, maybe in the form of religion that offers us commandments and offers us rules, that seems to be kind of an understanding of Christianity is sometimes people think there's rules that you follow. Yeah. But really, morality is very human, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not necessarily just religion makes this up for us. It's
And we follow this exterior set of rules. It's like kind of not intuitive to us, or doesn't come naturally.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think there is something just very human about, like, we all like know that we value things in the world.
Yeah.
We value other people. Hopefully we also value ourselves.
Yeah.
We value creation,
Yeah.
the vegetarian thing.
Yeah.
And so we want to treat those things
That's cute.
according to their
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's jump back in then to, maybe more of our journey then in understanding morality. So that was kind of a background of us. I think then we, decided to study theology together, and we took a class on moral theology. And I was incredibly changed or illuminated to what needed to be, I will say it this way, what needed to be completed in my understanding of morality,
Right.
and what it meant to really be free to act and be human. So
Do you remember studying during those times?
Yes.
It was our first semester at the Institute,
it was,
at the John Paul II Institute, where
Yeah.
we went. And I remember studying for maybe like it was a midterm or something. And we would just have these incredible conversations.
we really did.
Like, it
We
wasn't
did.
like we were just like trying to memorize facts, but we were like, oh my gosh, this is totally reshaping how I see all of reality. I remember you especially, like you were going through this like real beautiful time of like
Yeah.
awakening
Yeah.
in terms of morality, very specifically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was really beautiful.
yeah.
I would
Tell us a little bit about what was
Yeah.
happening in that.
Sure. So what I would say was the biggest kind of message that I took away was a quote from St. Augustine. And he says, "Love and do what you want." And that
That's
to
awesome.
me really changed my understanding of human action, not to be necessarily measured by something exterior to love, but that everything I do and every way that I act, everything I choose can be influenced by love,
Huh.
and not necessarily a judgment of what is right and good, though those are important. I'm not saying that, God's commandments should be thrown out. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
of
that.
course. Yeah.
Like, but underneath that, like fundamentally, what orders all of us is gift, as we've been talking about, as being a gift to another, as being created from love. And so from there, every action that I do is ordered to that love.
Okay. And then you're saying that if you have that, like, I mean, the statement is almost kind of scandalous, like love and
Yeah.
do what you want. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you could interpret that as like, okay, just do whatever you want. Like, there's no rules. Like you're saying,
Right.
we don't want to do that. But it is so
Exactly.
interesting. It's like, if you have love as your foundation, you can just do what you want. Like you're totally
Yes.
ordered to reality and like the goods in yourself and that surround you. And you're able to just follow that good.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that was it. So that was a huge just illumination for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's especially tending to want to be a real rule follower without that understanding lended me a lot towards falling into like a perfectionism.
Yeah.
Like a perfectionism of here, be like this and do these things. Or maybe other people were helping me see like, oh, I should be this way. They were influencing me. This order was outside of myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. And this perfectionistic order.
Yeah.
But really, it just really changed my freedom actually to just be,
That's
to act.
interesting.
I was just like, oh, I don't have to measure necessarily what I do,
Yeah.
like measure every little thing I do, whether or not this is good or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether or not it's good. Is this good or bad? Every single
does
thing.
it measure up to the standard? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was kind of
makes
broken
sense.
free from that and was just like, wow, I can just love. I don't know. I just love. You know, and what I mean by that, I guess, because that could be confusing too. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, I could just love. What I could do then is to see, first how we're talking about that the world was in previous episodes, we talked about how the world is made as a gift and is made for us to love. And I started to see that and could respond then in my actions by loving God back. By like, thank you for this gift. Thank you for creating me. Thank you for, the gifts that you give me in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I just respond to the gift of life, really.
Yeah. That's interesting. And so
Yeah.
you're not like constantly calculating and thinking like, oh, did I do the right thing? Or like beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Because I think you kind of what you seem to be saying is the focus goes away from you and am I good enough? Am I whatever meeting these standards that I have? And the focus shifts from you and the focus shifts onto the other.
Yeah.
Onto
Oh, yeah.
what's before
yeah.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
And the beauty of that. And that's
Right.
interesting. So then you're free. You're kind of yeah.
Yeah, you're free. And truly that's where love enters morality, because love is in a relationship. It is reciprocal. It's a sharing of gifts. It's a sharing of yourself. And so I think what I could say and what we're saying here and what John Paul II would say, I guess, is that morality is a response to the love that we've been given by
Wow,
God.
that's beautiful.
Like I've experienced a love by knowing who God is and experiencing love in people in the world. And it's something that makes me want to do and be good, be the right thing. Have you ever had an experience like that where you were just like really loved by someone, or maybe in prayer you really understood like, wow, God like loves me so much and I want to be like his love?
I'm struggling to think of a specific.
Yeah.
But I definitely do remember it was around the same time for me.
Yeah.
When I I had a little bit of a different story because I wasn't Catholic
Share your story.
before. And so I don't think I had as much this sort of like rule following. I did. Like I didn't, not that we didn't have like a system of morals in my upbringing, but like it wasn't as like calculated and like, defined, I guess. And so, and I guess it also wasn't as much my nature. It seems like,
Sure.
we
Yeah.
have that sort of like temperamental difference. So, and then with my conversion, when I kind of discovered like, oh, morality is like a thing. And the moral teachings of the church are true and they're beautiful. And I want to like live up to them. I did become a bit of a moralist. I mean, I think it was kind of like, I didn't really know how to like, I don't know, take my humanity that I was before. And then kind of like translate it into like becoming this Christian Catholic person, if that makes
Interesting.
sense. Yeah. Like it's sort of like, how does this fit? How do I still be myself? But then like kind of, I don't know, also live according to these rules. I mean, like I think they did feel a bit exterior to me. And I also felt a lot of this pressure of like, I did see them as beautiful, but I was like, I don't know. I didn't know how to kind of do it.
Okay.
I wanted to be
see.
holy, but I didn't know how to do it. And so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to just, again, like I said, I kind of became a moralist. Like I need to make myself be this way. I need to kind of perfect myself. Like I did all the right things kind of obsessively in the beginning,
So are you
which is
saying
like classic convert move too. Of like get really obsessed with like following all the rules and whatever. But yeah.
So can you say one more time what it means to be a moralist? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. What does it mean to be a moralist?
Is that synonymous with perfectionist, or are they related?
That's interesting. I think they definitely tend to go hand in hand.
Okay.
I would say that a moralist is someone who sort of morality to them is this set of standards or whatever, regulations, rules that I can follow. And I can kind of like make myself follow all these things. And it's not about me depending This is like the big difference between moralism and then like a Christian understanding of morality, which is really like I think we're going to get into, is all about dependence. It's all about the fact that I can't actually do this. It's impossible for me. I need grace. At the end of the day, I need grace. I need God's help.
Yeah.
So the moralist says, okay, no, I can do it. I can do morality all by myself. I can perfect myself. And so really it's interesting because the focus, the moralist, even though they might seem perfect and sort of the exterior, it's all about them.
You. Yeah, you. You know you've always wanted to go to Paris. Well, now's your chance. If you go with Select International Tours, the sponsor of today's Awaken Catholic Show episode, you can join Claire Swinarski from the Catholic Feminist podcast, as well as author and speaker Catherine Whitaker, along with a host of other powerful Catholic women, on a once-in-a-lifetime Seine River cruise pilgrimage in France. Visit and venerate the sister saints of France in Lisieux, Paris, Lourdes, and more. Sacre bleu! Learn more by visiting selectinternationaltours.com/awaken.
Okay, so Morgan, now that we talked a little bit about what morality isn't, or what we understood morality to be maybe as falling into moralism,
Right.
Having to follow the right things on my own and doing it and earning that goodness of, of being moral, right? So what can we talk about now with what morality is practically, and how to really follow the way of Christ, follow God's commandments, but not in such a rule-following way?
Yeah.
So what can we say to that?
I think where I would go with it is I'd say first, and I'm totally stealing this from Father Luigi Giussani.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite theologians. And I'm in this group called Communion and Liberation, which he started. And we do this thing called, this is becoming a long explanation.
Go for it.
But we're doing this thing called School of Community. That's like sort of what the movement, CL, Communion and Liberation, that's what we do.
Okay.
And we've been reading this book called Generating Traces. And it was interesting because just, I think a week or two ago, we read this section about morality, which I thought was so interesting. We'd already been talking about doing it.
Good timing.
Yeah, a talk on morality. And so, but it was really beautiful because the big point he made is he defined moralism pretty much how we did, of like, you sort of set up these rules and you can follow it and it's all about you. It's all about you making yourself perfect. And then he contrasted that with Christian morality, which he says first and foremost is all about being dependent on God. So it's about really abandoning yourself to God and saying, I can't do this. I can't be moral. He even says being morally coherent is a miracle. It's literally not something I can produce. It's this gift of God, really, to be good and to be able to, sort of, achieve this perfection, which God, does want from us. He does want us to be perfect. But what that means is not that I make myself perfect, but it's that I depend. I give myself. Like we talked in our last episode about vulnerability. I'm willing to be vulnerable. I show up and I let myself be loved. And then I slowly am able to, to be moral.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is dependence.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
That's really, really great. That's good. As you were talking, I was thinking too, like, nobody is perfect, but you said we can be perfect. Yeah. Right. But the perfection isn't necessarily, can we say, measured by doing.
Yes.
But it's by receiving from God, that dependency.
Yes.
Becoming perfect is learning how to depend on God again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's really good. I think that's a really beautiful way to see really our understanding of what it means to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to think like, follow all the rules and I'm going to get to heaven.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's about undoing the original sin, actually.
Yeah.
It's undoing the original sin that says, I don't need to trust God. I don't need to depend on God.
Yeah.
Right?
Good point.
Yeah.
Exactly. The really the most immoral thing you can do truly is to reject this dependence. And that's interesting because that's what the moralist does. Yeah. That's why Jesus is constantly calling out the Pharisees, because they're these moralists.
Right.
They think they can measure up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That makes me think of the gospel passage where Christ approaches the woman who's about to be stoned because she was caught in adultery.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
And he writes in the sand something, and one by one they start leaving.
yeah.
And I was told that it's speculated that maybe he was writing their own sins,
Oh.
right? The own
I've
sins
never
of the
heard that.
Pharisees. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like as he was writing in the sand their sins, they left.
Yeah.
And so then, Christ says, "Woman, where are your condemners?" And they've all gone. And he says, "Neither I condemn you.
Yeah.
Go and sin no more."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what I love about that is that Christ is so good and gentle with us and with the woman that just his mercy
Yeah.
changed her.
Yeah.
He said, "Go and sin no more."
Mm-hmm.
Not like you better not sin, but because she experienced such a beautiful love and mercy, I would imagine she was changed by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Totally
know?
naturally. Like kind of what you were saying. I'm thinking back when you said the thing about love and do what you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of this like really just natural, like spontaneous response to
Yeah.
receiving that kind of love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my gosh, like look at this person has like seen me for what I am and like had this incredible mercy on me, like pierced through
Yeah.
basically my sin and seen me for my truth.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, my response to that is like, I just want to like give everything to this person.
Right. I want to be like that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's just this radical love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like morality. Like that is the
Yes.
essence of morality
Yes.
right there in that story.
Exactly. Can I share another story?
Please, yes.
Okay. So another story that I think illuminates this really, really beautiful. I was at a talk. Somebody was giving a talk on I don't know what, but it was a good talk.
Something.
It was a good talk, and this speaker shared this story of a woman in Rwanda during the Rwandan genocide whose family was murdered in front of her.
Wow.
And at the end of the war, there was a trial for the murder of this woman's family. And apparently in that country, it's custom to the one who's offended or the crime was committed against gets to say the sentence of the one who did the crime.
Oh, wow.
So essentially, like this woman, this mother and this wife had the life of this murderer in her hands.
Gosh.
Yeah. And she could have said, he deserves to be killed for what he did to me.
Wow.
But what
Yeah.
she said was, what will happen to you is that you will come now into my home because I have no one to take care of and no one to take care of me.
Wow.
So
That's so beautiful.
isn't that beautiful?
That's crazy.
So he lives with her,
Wow.
and just the exposure and the experience of the mercy of this woman at day in and day out, of the woman who I killed everybody she loved, and
Wow.
yet she still loves me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That man was converted. He was changed.
That's incredible.
And they just began to live in this community of
Oh,
love
that's
together.
so beautiful. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
I mean, that happens in life.
That
there,
really
there are
happens,
people
yeah.
that have the capacity to do those things.
Yeah.
And truly that kind of mercy is what creates a morality, creates a once again a response to a love I've been given, and I want to be like that love. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking
Yeah.
too of, when we were talking about this the other day, you mentioned Jean Valjean in
Oh, yeah.
Les Mis. And it's the same kind of story
Same kind of story.
of, there's just this radical mercy. I mean, the guy, I forgot his name.
Jean Valjean?
Jean Valjean is the one that stole.
Yeah. He stole
Yes.
the candlesticks.
Stole all these
from
candlesticks
from the
from
bishop.
Yeah. And then the bishop finds out and
Yeah, and lets him go.
yeah.
But now he kind of calls him, like Christ called the woman caught in adultery to go and sin no more. The bishop calls Jean Valjean to like become an honest man now.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
use this opportunity to become better.
Yeah.
And he does.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I think we could say morality is beautiful.
Morality is beautiful.
To learn how to desire what is good and to desire love and to respond to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it comes from this experience of, Christ's mercy on you,
Yeah.
and not this, and this like total humility in that of like, I know that I am not perfect,
Yeah.
but I know that this person's love of me is able to pierce through that imperfection, and therefore I am free.
Yeah.
I can I have this, like Jasani said, like this, it's this miracle of like, I'm free. I'm able to be this like totally different, alive person. And I have this incredible generosity. Like,
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. But that's morality. That's like what it means to become like a saint.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true.
Yeah.
And while we would say that, or maybe I can say from my own story of, being raised in the Catholic Church, which is something I'm so thankful for, and having an understanding of, God's commandments, that was an important step in my understanding of morality, because we do need the law.
Yeah.
We do need to know what is right and wrong in these ways as we're trying to learn and to grow once again to this understanding of morality as a response to love.
Yeah, that's
So-
a super important point. It's
It
not
is.
that we get rid of the rules, so
No,
to speak. I mean, the rules are like this is reality. God has made the world a certain way, and we should treat it a certain way. And those things are beautiful. But if we see them, it's really just like switching how we see them.
Yep.
Is it that it becomes that I'm the measure. I'm the one that is able to live up to all of these things. It's all about me doing good. Or is it about like the focus is on depending on God?
Yeah.
And in this dependence and in this mercy that God shows us, being able to like actually have this coherence with like myself and the world around me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And loving God back.
And loving God back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Through creation. So through treating things as they should be treated.
Exactly. Awesome. Do we want to say anything else today, Morgan?
I don't know. I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for listening to our conversation today.
Yes. Thank you.
You are good. You are a gift. God loves you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
This show and all media on Awaken Catholic is made possible by the Awaken Nation and the Hallow app. The Awaken Nation is a community of people like you who support all things Awaken for as cheap as a cup of coffee a week and get access to exclusive content. Learn more by visiting awakencatholic.org/donate. Hallow is the only audio-guided Catholic prayer app focused on contemplative prayer and traditional Catholic meditation such as Lectio Divina, Daily Examen, and the Rosary. We here at Awaken all use Hallow every day and love it. To learn more or give it a try, visit hallow.app/awaken.